What's up, my dudes? Pro RF GNCC Hare Scramble Trail Racing Series. Where's it at, bro? Why do we not have this in this game yet? Like, I really don't understand why there's not some sort of GNCC RF Pro Racing Trail series to this game. I really don't get it. This needs to be in this game bad, dude. Like, really, really bad. This would do so much for this game. And get this, RF. I'll go in here and make you some full-blown trail tracks with actually really close to the track tree, billboard, collidable trees, and really get that tight trail experience with the logs and the uphill sections and all that. And guess what? I won't even actually participate in the races that I make the tracks on because, obviously I don't want people to think that I'm getting an advantage on the track. I wouldn't want anything like that to happen. So, but that's just the kind of guy I am. I would try to keep it everything legit and professional and not actually, participate in the tracks that I'm working on and making, and everyone else only gets a certain amount of time on it. I wouldn't do anything like that. So, I would definitely not be participating in it if I was making the tracks, but you get what I'm saying here. I could definitely go in there and make some legit trail tracks for it, but yeah, so basically, I don't see why there's not a trail series, pro series on MX Simulator. It makes no sense. They have the pro motocross RF and then the pro obviously nationals with RF. Whoa, check out this save dog. Woo! That was insane. But yeah, it's just such a it's weird. It's like an underground element to MX Simulator. I feel like the whole Hare Scramble trail enduro, it's so weird because it's like there's probably about 1 out of every 50 or 100 tracks in the game is a actual trail enduro track. So there's so little of them. It's a very untapped, untouched market of tracks on MX Simulator. I don't really understand why that is. It's like it doesn't make any sense because you're playing a simulator, so all of the realistic racing experiences that you can get racing supercross and motocross in this game, you could have all those super real racing experiences with the trail racing. I mean, you got log objects in the game, small rock objects in the game, big boulder objects in the game. You've got everything. I was the first person to go in there and make the actual collidable tree billboards and not actually having to have a tree statue, which totally clogs up the track. Most time trail tracks don't really have close trees on the side of the track where they're actually collidable like you find in a lot of the real life trail tracks. But I found a way to make the billboards collidable, and you can only really do that with certain tree billboards, so you got to be real crafty and careful with it. But I basically came up with a system to where you wouldn't just totally hog down your PC and make an absolutely ridiculous, huge, actual track file size, but still be able to have collidable trees with billboards instead of statues. And that was a way to get a lot of those realistic, close to the track trees. You know how they're always bouncing off the trees, and it's a lot of times the GNCC true trail racing. Let me just slide down this mountain for another 1,000 decades. A lot of times it's a lot tighter and closer to the trees than what I feel like a lot of the trail tracks and a lot of these motocross games portray it as or perceive it as. And even on this track, it's still a little bit more wide in a lot of areas than I feel like it would be. But if I was to go in there and make a true pro GNCC type track, I would be able to make it a lot tighter, a lot more realistic. I would go in there and do it in that kind of sense. But yeah, it would do so much for this game, man. I don't see why that's not. It's such a massive aspect. And the thing about it is, if you don't really have a big sort of organization like RF, woohoo, and a hair on my titty stand up right there, boy. If you don't have somebody like RF or EMF, but even if EMF does it, it's not going to be quite as big. It just about damn near has to be RF to do a full-blown trail racing series like that for there to even really be enough people participate or sign up for it to even be an actual race. You know what I mean? If RF's not doing it, then nobody else can really get that kind of pull on MX Simulator. They just can't. It just doesn't work that way. I feel like there's been probably a couple little series here and there that have been kind of have been a little bit like that, but where it'll be a trail series on MXS Lobby or one of those other little websites and stuff, but it won't be an actual it won't be like a full-blown top-notch RF Pro like the Supercross RF and Motocross RF series is. And if it was that way, if there was a real RF trail enduro, GNCC Hare Scramble series, people would get so much more into the trail racing. It would become such a big aspect. There would be way more tracks made like this. There would be way more, rock log objects made. There would be so many more people that would dedicate the time to make the more kind of trail objects that we desperately need in this game right now. There would be so much more of that being made for it if there was actually a pro racing series. I just feel like it's such a forgotten aspect to MX Simulator, and it's such a fun way to play the game, and it's a whole different way to play the game because you can make full-blown trail tracks in this game, uphill sections that are actually difficult, rock garden sections. You can make log cross sections. I mean, there is just a plethora of different things you can do. Make huge, long, full 30-minute long trail. One lap takes you 45 minutes. I mean, you've seen that with the recent Riesenberg, you guys saw that with that new track that came out for this game. But those tracks just don't come out that often. I mean, you've seen some of the custom trail tracks I've made. I mean, I'm going through them right here. Obviously with the evening trail, morning trail, rainforest trail, frozen trail. I got quite a few trail tracks out there, night trail, and I've really tried to push that hard in this game and do that because I feel like it's such a untapped market of this game. And just letting you guys know, if you want to go check out my trail tracks, you can just go to my custom track playlist. It's on my front page. It's literally the first playlist there. You can go check out all my custom tracks that I've made for this game, but also my trail tracks are on there as well if you want to go look at that. It's a lot of really cool content for this game that it's just so easily kind of like looked over, I feel like, and kind of, and the mud trail track as well. That was a really cool one I made too. But it's just like I feel like people don't really play a lot on the trails of this game. And I think a big reason for that is there's not really a big pro racing, there's really not a big point to do it because there's not really big pro racing series for it. And B, there's not a whole lot of people that even make these kind of tracks, or they'll go in there and make a trail track that doesn't even have any logs or rocks on it. It'll be like a super wide, like no collidable trees. It won't even really feel like an actual trail track. You know what I mean? It'll feel more like a almost like a waypoint track, or it'll feel like one of those Omnicross tracks on Reflex. It won't be like full trail. It'll feel more like a kind of wide open Baja style, I don't really know how to explain that. More of one of those desert kind of races, not so much of like a GNCC in the woods race. That's what I'm kind of getting at. But I think they could do so much with it. Not that they have to exactly. I mean, it would be cool if they did like a full-blown replica of the GNCC series. That would be sick as hell. But I mean, it would be cool if they just did their own trail series in the Pro RF, like just random tracks, it doesn't even have to be replica stuff. That would be cool as well. But they would just have to get some dudes in there that would be willing to dedicate the time to make those tracks, and that's all they'd really have to get there, you know what I'm saying? And then they would have it. But I think a lot of people would sign up for that. I really do. I think a lot of people would do that. I think it would probably be better to just have, I know this might sound a little crazy, but definitely maybe for the first season, just to see how it would do, maybe just have one class in the pro racing. Like it's just an open class, 250s, 450s, ride anything you want to, RMzilla, whatever the hell you want to ride. In that way that you make sure you get enough people in there for like qualifying and filling up the gate and all that. Getting enough people, obviously you'd want to have it to where it's 40 riders. That's the most you can have on sim. I know on the trails there may technically be somewhat more than that sometimes, but could you imagine 40 of us taking off and then all going down in a little trail? Oh my God, dude, that'd be so much fun in this game. And if they would actually live stream it, like they do with the Supercross and the Motocross, come on guys. Come on, Kellen. Come on, dudes at RF. Let's get this going, dog. Let's get this game going. Like, I feel like all the motivation and the inspiration and the trying to push this game forward has just been lost somewhere over the past couple years with RF kind of shutting down. And it's like people just don't have the same, a lot of the top dudes that are running the shit don't have the same passion for it anymore. It's weird. It's like they're not pushing it like I feel like they once did. But either way, yeah, I really hope to see this in the future. I honestly do. I mean, I just like RF. You got to do this, man. At some point, this game needs this. It really does. I mean, could you imagine if they go in there and really start making like some of these object makers for MX Simulator? Could you imagine if if they would go in there and really make like really small rocks and like little wood, little like wood plank cross areas, little, you know how kind of on the little free ride track of Supercross 2, the official video game, those little like, they got those like crazy wood, I don't even know, it's like BMX wood type areas and shit. That'd be really cool if they could add some of that. And there are actually tire objects in MX Simulator as well. There may be like one or two. There's really not a whole lot of like actual enduro objects in this game. There's honestly not. And there could be a lot more done with like the water, rivery areas. You can make a lot more cool shit with that. And yeah, and I think that's definitely the way they should go about doing the trees really close to the track is my whole basically invention with the whole making billboards collidable, which I literally don't think that had ever been done before I did that. Like I really don't. Billboards has always looked at that kind of as that kind of thing that wasn't collidable. It was just kind of a visual thing. And then your statue trees, which aren't actually a billboard, they're a full-blown model. Those were looked at as more being the collidable trees, but the issue was the tree statues took up so much more space and put so much more of a hog on the PC that a lot of times there wasn't a whole lot of trees, or people just chose to not even put those tree statues, so then you didn't have any collidable trees because they didn't want to have lag on their track. So a lot of times that's what ended up happening, but this whole system that I've came up with of having the collidable billboard trees, it's fucking perfect. Like it's perfect. You get best of both worlds. You can have as many collidable trees as you want, and you don't get all of that super hog down on your PC of having the actual full-blown tree statues. It's perfect, man. But yeah, either way, I just feel like this is such a big aspect that could push this game forward in so many ways. I mean, it's a motocross, it's a dirt bike simulator. I mean, I hate, it's called MX Simulator, but really it's a dirt bike simulator. I mean, that's, it can be riding on supercross tracks, motocross tracks, enduro tracks, free ride tracks, huge unrealistic jump tracks, fantasy tracks. You can ride on anything. It's a dirt bike simulator, you know what I mean? It's not just limited to any one kind of aspect of like dirt bike racing, you know what I mean? So, but you can make such complex things when you mix certain rocks with other big rocks and hill climb areas. You could have just straight up hill climb racing in this game. Not even trail racing, but you can also have hill climb sections in your Enduro Hare Scramble areas of your tracks and stuff, and river crossing, water crossing. You can make those slicker than the rest of the tracks. That would just be so cool if that was the case, and have really long lap times, like 45-minute long lap times, where it's just like a one run through it. You only run one lap through it, but it literally is like a 45-minute long race or something. That would be so cool. And if they had like a really short qualifying, just like they do in like, let's just say you only get one lap. Oh, dude, how would they do the qualifying? That would be insane. I just now thought of that. Like, how in the hell would they do that? Dudes, what they should do is make it to where you get one lap to qualify on that like 45-minute long enduro cross track. You get one session, one lap, and it's kind of like you're seeing it all for the very first time, and you just get one lap to run it out and do it and see how good of a time you get. That's really going to test your titties on like your consistency, and really, in real life, a lot of times that you don't even get to practice on it. You just GNCC, crank that bike up and go, you know what I mean? Like you don't even get to practice at all. But with MX Simulator, odds are you'd probably have enough people trying to qualify that you would need that actual qualifying system to it. So you would have to have that to some extent, I would think. But yeah, this is just something that's so needed. There's so many little things that can still be done to MX Simulator to make this game live for so much longer, and this is just another one of those aspects that I feel like really needs to be put in, and I don't see why it hasn't already been put in. I know that RF's putting time into Supercross and motocross. Oh, and another thing I was going to mention is a time that they could do this. Not that they'd necessarily. It'd be kind of hard. See, that's kind of where it becomes a thing. Is like if you tried to do it at the exact times of the real life GNCC, it would kind of interfere with the Supercross and the motocross because they would be going on at the same time. So there's two different options there. They could do it on a completely different day than the Supercross and motocross. Like let's just say that's on a Wednesday night. Well, they could do the Hare Scramble Trail thing on like a Tuesday or a Thursday night or something. Or they could just do that whole series like in the off season, the RF GNCC Hare Scramble series completely in the off season when we're not doing motocross or supercross. That's the other option for it. But I literally think this is another avenue they could make more money. They could charge to race just like they do with their, Supercross and Motocross series. Make some really cool tracks, make a lot history of tracks just like they do. And I just can't believe there's not more. I can't believe there's not more track makers in this game just making more of the GNCC replica tracks just for fun. Like, I don't know why there's not more of that. It's such a big aspect in real life to racing and motocross racing, dirt bike racing. So, but that's my opinion on it, guys. I think it would just help every aspect of this game. More objects are going to get made. More cool trees are going to get made. There's just so much more that would get done with it. They could, I would assume that they would have the erode on, and which would be kind of interesting if it was a one-lapper, because the dude in the front would be like basically having no erode, and then the dude in 40th would have a pretty insane erode, depending on how high they had it. That would be interesting how all that would work. But I think that would be the best way to do it, though, is have most of the tracks pretty long and just one-lap races, one go at it in qualifying, one lap in qualifying, and then one race, just so, because I don't know any other way you'd be able to qualify in like that. And if there was enough people signing up, they could definitely have like a 250 and a 450 class. It'd be so cool, dude. Like, that'd be cool in every way. There's no reason not to. You know what I mean? That's the way I look at it. It's a big enough dirt bike racing thing that it really does need to have a pro racing RF full series place in MX Simulator every year. It really does. It's that big of a deal. And I'm not joking around when I say that. And even Arena Cross, I feel like, needs to have a full RF Pro Racing Arena Cross series. I feel like that needs to be a thing as well. Those two things in particular, I think, are really big, like Enduro, Hare Scramble, GNCC, and the Arena Cross in the game too. It's just an avenue to make a little bit more money for RF, for the pro racing, and just more racing for everybody, more exposure for the game. A lot of people that see MX Simulator, they probably don't even realize that you can trail race in this game, because 99% of the content out there is either on a motocross track or a supercross track or a fantasy track. It's not even on a trail track, so a lot of people don't even realize, or it's on a trail track that's not even really a hardcore trail track like this right here, you know what I'm saying? So I feel like it's just a very misunderstood aspect of MX Simulator, very like swept over, very looked over aspect that really needs to get more attention brought to it. And that's what I'm trying to do, man. That's why I've made all these enduro tracks. That's why I do it, dog. There's a big reason behind it. I'm trying to push this game forward, make this game bigger, make it last longer. That's why I do the videos on it. I have so much love for this game, and that's why I do it, man. So either way, appreciate you guys watching all the videos. Do it, RF, baby. Let's go. Let's get that money. Let's get that bread, boys. Do it. You know what I'm saying? Peace.